Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday Week 12 recap show. And we've had a lot of action today. And we'll also recap all the early and late games and the Sunday night football game. We'll recap it all. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday Week 13 trivia question. My mistake, Week 13, not Week 12. Week 13. But here's the trivia question. Coach Greg Williams' win-loss record was 5-3 in his 8-game tenure, after which he was fired. Well, maybe not fired, but he wasn't rehired anyway. He wanted to keep the job, but now he's defensive coordinator for the Jets. Who was the last head coach over 500 for his Browns career? Was it Mike Pettine, Butch Davis, Bill Belichick, or Marty Schottenheimer? I will have the answer later in the podcast. Well, the Browns get a 27-14 win over the Houston Texans at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas today. Deshaun Watson was rusty in his return debut, but the defense and special teams bailed him out in the win over the Texans. Deshaun Watson's return to the team and the field didn't go the way the Browns had hoped. Watson was 12 of 22 for 131 yards and with no TDs and one interception in the end zone for a 53.4 rating. The three-time Pro Bowl QB, was rusty and off target in the game against the Texans. Defense and special teams really came through, and they've been liable for most of the season. They came through and saved Watson to keep the Browns in the lead until Watson could put 2 field goal drives on the board and help the Browns to a 27-14 victory for a record slash mark of 5-7 on the season. I'm going to recap this game for you right now. I'm going to give you the highlights. First quarter, the Texans had an interception, and it was Kyle Allen passing complete deep right to it was Quitterino, and Cleveland challenged the incomplete pass ruling, and the play was reversed to a deep right intended for Quarantino, intercepted by John Johnson the third and Denzel Ward at the Cleveland 43. Johnson ran out of bounds at the Cleveland 43 for no gain. And the Browns get the ball back. The Browns have the punt after going 3 and out, 7 yards. 3 plays and 7 yards. And the Texans have the punt after going 3 and out, 4 plays and 18 yards. Then the Browns had a fumble. And this was the fumble in the end zone. Deshaun Watson's pass short right to Anthony Schwartz to the Cleveland 47 for 12 yards. And then Thomas fumbles, recovered by Houston's. I think it was David King, and the 47 to the Cleveland 38 for 15 yards. I think it was Tegan Quarantino. Excuse me, Tegan Quarantino. I said T Quarantino. It's Tegan Quarantino, and Desmond King. Excuse me, Desmond King recovered that. And then the Texans got the ball back, and they got into field goal range. And it was a 4th and 19 at Cleveland 25. Keith Fairbairn's 44-yard field goal was good, and it was 3-0 Houston. Let me, I want to, because I don't want to mess up these names, so I'm going to check something in the. Kiyami Fairbairn, excuse me. Kiyami Fairbairn. That's who it is. My mistake. But it was 3-0 Houston. Then the Browns had an interception. And it was Chris Hubbard. It was Deshaun Watson pass. Short middle intended for Amari Cooper. Intercepted by Petire. Petrie, excuse me, at the Houston 3 to the Houston 26 for a 26-yard gain, and Texans got the ball back, and then they had a turnover on downs, and that was 4th and goal. Kai Allen's pass incomplete to Harrison, excuse me, and Grant Delpit and Houston Harrison was injured during the play. His return was questionable. There was no gain, so there was a turnover on downs, and it was 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. And then the Browns got into it was 2nd and 10 at the Cleveland 1. Chris Hubbard, Nick Chubb up the middle, tackled in the end zone for a -1 yards, and they got a safety out of it. The Texans did, and it was 5-0 Texans. The Texans had to punt after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 9 yards, and the Browns had to punt after going out 3 and out, 7 plays, 35 yards, and then Houston had to punt again if it's going 3 and out. Actually, there was a touchdown with that. It was Donovan Peoples-Jones with a 76-yard touchdown with that. Technically went 3 and out, but the extra point there wasn't, and it was 6-5 Browns. Then Houston had to punt after going 3 and out, 4 plays, 18 yards. Then the Browns had to punt after going 3 and out, 4 plays, 18 yards as well. Then Houston had to punt again after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 7 yards, and then 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 20. Kareem Hunt left tackle to Cleveland 31 for 11-yard gain. Kareem Hunt right, 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 30. As it was a 20, now it's 31. Kareem Hunt right guard to Cleveland 37 for 6 yards, and they would have the ball in the second half. But it was 6-5 Browns at the halftime. They went in with a 6-5 lead. Yeah, it was a 6-5 lead at halftime. So, then in the third quarter, Browns had the punt after going 3 and out, 8 plays for 41 yards. Then Houston had a fumble. And the Browns got the, and then Fields recovered the fumble. It was recovered by Denzel Ward. Excuse me, Fields was the one that fumbled it. Denzel Ward of the Browns recovered it, and he scored a 4-yard touchdown. It was 13-5 Browns. And then the Texans got into field goal range, and it was 4th and 5 to Cleveland 17. Kayami Fairbairn's 35-yard field goal is good, and it was 13-8 Browns. The Browns lead. Then the Browns at the punt after going 3 and out, 5 plays, 28 yards. Houston had the punt after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 1 yard. Then the Browns got in the field goal range again. And it was 4th and 6 at the Houston 25. K-Dok's 43-yard field goal is good. And it was 17-8 Browns at the end of the third quarter. Then the Texans had another interception again. And it was Kyle Allen's pass short middle intended for David Ogun Bowell. Let me see what the name is, though. I don't want to mess his name up. Oh, Dare Ogun Bowell. And it was interception. Kyle Allen's passing complete to Tegan Quarantino, and Cleveland challenged the. Wait a minute, that was the wrong one. Kevin Fairbank's field goal was good, and it was 14-8, and then. Oh yeah, now here we go. It was Kyle Allen's pass short middle intended for Dare Ogwen Bowell, intercepted by Fields and Winovich at the Houston 18. Fields for the 18-yard touchdown. And the Browns scored that one. It was 23-8. Browns. Then the Houston had to punt again after going 3 and out, 5 plays, 11 yards. Browns had to punt after going 3 and out. In the time of possession. But then there was a fumble, 4th and 6 at the Cleveland 24. Corey Borjaquez punts a 64 yards to the Houston 12. Konjazak fumbles, recovered by Fields, and at the Houston 33, Fields to the Houston 32 for 1 yard, and then the Browns got the ball back. And then they got in the field goal range. 4th and 2 at the Houston 24. And it was Cade York's 42-yard field goal was good, and it was 27-8 Browns. And then Houston scored their second and only other touchdown of the game. And it was Kyle Allen pass short middle to Collins for the 6-yard touchdown. 2-point conversion attempt failed. And it was 27-14. And although Deshaun Watson had to kneel for just 3 plays, and nonetheless, the Browns get the win by the final score of 27-14. Watson, as I said, was rusty in his debut, but the defense and special teams bailed him out, as I said. Watson gets the game ball. 12 of 22, 131 yards. 1 interception. Nick Chubb, 17 attempts, 80 yards. And Donovan Peoples-Jones, 3 receptions, 44 yards. The Browns travel to Cincinnati to play the Bengals next week. Hopefully we can get the win against them. Excuse me. I'm going to now reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday Week 13 trivia question. Coach Greg Williams' win-loss record of 5-3 in his 8-game tenure, after which he was fired. Well, maybe not fired, but he wasn't rehired. He wanted to keep the job, but now he's the defensive coordinator for the Jets. Who was the last head coach over 500 for his Browns career? Was it Mike Pantine, Butch Davis, Bill Belichick, Marty Schottenheimer? And if you said Marty Schottenheimer, you are correct. Marty Schottenheimer, who was fired in 1984, that was a long time ago. It was kind of depressing that it has been so long. And I'll be back with the other NFL scores from this past week. And I took the Browns with my brother-in-law. We won on that one. And I'll be back with the other game scores right after this. Stay